Hey guys, welcome to the KickBack FC. Thank you for joining us once again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Welcome to the Kickback FC, your go-to spot for unfiltered, real talk, all things soccer. Here we've got it all. We're going to be breaking down the biggest moments, hottest takes, and everything that you need to stay plugged into the world's game. We'll even tap into some other sports from time to time because if it's big in sports, we've got some thoughts on it. Whether this is your first time jumping in with us or you've been rocking with us from the jump, again, I just want to say thank you to all of our friends and supporters. Once again, my name is Cornelius. I'm joined by my boys and fellow co-hosts. Our co-host for the month, Poppy. How you feeling tonight? Are you
Feeling good,
frozen?
man. Thanks for having me once again. How are you guys doing?
Good, good, good. I don't know if you're frozen on your end, but it seems like you might be a little bit frozen on our end. But we're good, man. Good to be here. It feels good. Salam, how you?
Good, man. Happy New Year, everybody. Mike, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. It's a new year, new us, or the same old us, but I'm feeling good. How about you, Gabriel?
Yeah, I'm you, bro.
Sorry, Happy New Year. I feel good, can't complain. Team is still on top. Cornelius, how you feel?
Good, man. It's a happy new year to everyone here on the pod and to everyone out there as well. Lots going on, man. This year started off with a bang to say the least, but a lot going on in the world of football, a lot going on in the world in general. But happy to be here with you boys tonight. Um, just wanted to start off here with some light. Start off with some light, but the way that Chelsea has started, we'll get into it. But before we hop into our teams, we're gonna keep it kind of simple this week. We'll talk the top six when it comes to the Premier League because I feel like this is the first time all four of our teams, with Poppy being here and being a Liverpool fan, it's the first time all four of our teams have been in the top four or top six in a minute. It's been a while since United has seen the top four, top six, this early in the season. We got Aston Villa up there as well, who's started to now be a mainstay in the top four this season. But I did want to start with Liverpool because Liverpool's gone through some ups and downs. Um, and they had a very interesting week, a week where I think, Poppy, when we asked last week, when you go into Leeds, when you go into Fulham, are you expecting full points this week? And you were the main one to say Liverpool is so unpredictable. I got to shout out you for saying that Liverpool's been very unpredictable this year. So, in a week where I thought that they would try to capitalize on, a very tricky Leeds team. To be honest, this Leeds team again hasn't lost in 7 Premier League matches. Um, and then Fulham, who in the last couple of months has been on a tear, with Harry Wilson just kind of being their point man over there. But Liverpool, man, let's talk about it. Poppy, how do you feel about this past week? I know you kind of have always been on, Liverpool are unpredictable, but did you expect 3 points from either of the matches this past week?
I expected 3 points from at least one of them, but I guess this is what happens, man. This is what I said last time. Um, y'all called me crazy. I told y'all, the title is not an expectation anymore for me, and I told y'all it doesn't seem to be the goal for them, and y'all called me crazy, but this is what I was talking about. An opportunity to get 6 points against Fulham and Leeds, and they get 2 out of 6 points. This is exactly why I am not expecting them to win a title this year because they're not showing me that having to throw the kitchen sink and hoping something sinks again, like that's not how it works. That's not the plan. There's just so much to talk about here, man. Like I just feel like I'm confused with Liverpool at the moment because we're not a bad side, but we're not a great side either. Like we have no identity, we have no structure, and that's just something that can't work. If you're aspiring to win a title, it's yeah, and I want to blame the coach, of course, because you know this is what you look for. This is who you look at first, but then again, this is the same coach that inherited a trophyless team a couple of months ago and won the title with that team. But at the same time, it's you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but like it's hard for me to do that. It's just hard for me to do that. This is the same team that won a couple games. I think we before the last two games we won our last five, if I'm not mistaken, our last four, our last five. But then again, at the same time, this is the team that in the Champions League you've lost to Galatasaray. You've lost to PSV Eindhoven 4-1 at home in Anfield. But but it's also that same team that beat Inter Milan and Real Madrid. So you're like, okay, what's what's going on here? And then you in the Premier League, you won the four of your last five matches, and then you drop points against Leeds, you drop points against Fulham, and those are both teams that are not even in the top 10. So it's just confusing overall. It's just like everything is confusing. Everything is uncertain right now. But what's one thing's for sure is that they're not showing any signs of winning a title this season. So I think this is going to be a long road where you're going to be having ups and downs throughout the whole season, and just try your best to finish as high as possible, I think.
You guys miss Ekatike. That's what it is. Especially this weekend. You guys missed him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's tricky though. This is a team, like you said, they had won their last four in the Premier League, but when you look at this past week, before their draws, I guess 2 weeks ago, they won 2-1 against a very unflattering Liverpool or Tottenham team, and then you were able to scrape a 2-1 win against Wolves. So even in some of these wins, you're seeing signs of Liverpool not being the Liverpool that we know of. But yeah, like you said, it's just been very unpredictable this year. They had a little run, and then they start the year off with 2 draws. So Liverpool still in the top four. One of those teams that is just barely above, everybody else. But before we even hopped on the podcast, before we started recording, I was talking to Selam about when you look at the top three teams on the table right now, they all have at least 40 points. When you look at Arsenal, when you look at Aston Villa, and when you look at Man City, Arsenal right now 46 points, and then Villa and City both have 42 points. From third place all the way down to 14th place, only 6 points separate those two, those teams. So right now the table is a tale of the top three and everybody else. I was more so going to use this for Chelsea's segment, but you lose a few games and you could drop 4, 5, 6, 7 spots in just 1 week. In January, we're playing 2 Premier League games a week sometimes. It's in the span of 10 games sometimes, or 10 days sometimes. So this is one of those stretches where I feel like losing games is just something that can't happen if you have aspirations on being in the top 4. Let's just call it in Europe, the top 6 spots this year. You can lose or you can draw matches, but you definitely can't lose, because dropping 3 points is just very, very detrimental right now. So as bad as it may seem, at least you guys aren't losing these matches. You're still somehow able to grab points.
That's yeah, but we should be winning them, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I hear you. Trust me, I'm fine with Liverpool losing or not getting full points, but yeah, I mean, that's just kind of how it is right now. Another team that we could talk about is City. City was on a tear, and we could talk about the match against Chelsea here in a little bit. Me and Mike can expand on that, but starting the year off again with 2 draws, drawing Sunderland midweek, and then the 1-1 against Chelsea. Obviously, Arsenal fans are very, very happy with how the year started. Arsenal able to go ahead and get points where City has been dropping points. Like I said last week in my recap, I said this was a massive week for Arsenal. Arsenal was able to grab points where City started to fall off a little bit. And City again starting the year 2 draws. Is this something that they should kind of look at and say, I don't want to call it a blip because it's just been a week, but Do we think something's going on with City? They were just on a crazy tear, and they're starting off the year with 2 draws. Albeit they've had some injuries, albeit they've lost a few of their players to AFCON.
I don't want to hear the injuries. I don't want to hear the AFCON. Nope, I don't want to hear it.
I'm just
I don't want to hear it.
saying.
I don't want to hear it from nobody because when we get our injuries, y'all know this.
I have to side with Gabe on this one.
You bought him this, you did that. So I don't want to hear nothing about no injuries. I'm saying that right now.
Gabe, I'm with you on this one, bro.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just posing a question. Do we look at
I mean,
any different?
I just think they got caught in 2 games. That's what it is. I think they just got caught in 2 games. They're not the same team. They've been good this year, but I don't think they're the same team we've seen in the last couple of years. But I don't want to say it's necessarily a blip, but if they want to, be on Arsenal's tail, they will have to not drop games like the last 2 that they've dropped. But overall, I guess if you're an Arsenal fan, yeah, this is good. If you're a City fan, I don't think you should be too worried because at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like they're kind of playing with house money right now because nobody really expected this team to be actually performing the way they have. But overall, I think they should be fine, in my opinion.
I think they'll be fine. I think Jacques put on a masterclass midweek and did Arsenal a favor, if I'm being completely honest. My concern with City is more excuse me, my concern with City is more so this past weekend against Chelsea. I know we'll talk about that match later, but I don't know how they drew this past week. I don't know. You guys stole a point this past weekend for sure. And that's where my gripe comes in the City, where it's like when they had the chances to put the game to bed multiple times, they didn't, and then they let the foot off the gas the last 15, 20 minutes of the game, and they end up conceding in the last 3 minutes of the game, which is very un-City-like. So I wouldn't really put any stock into the midweek because I think playing away at Sunderland is tough for anyone right now. And, Sunderland's got some big results against the big clubs this year. So this isn't the first time. This isn't their first rodeo where they've gotten points. They got points off us. I'm pretty sure they got points off Chelsea.
They beat us.
I think they get points on Liverpool, or maybe they lost. I'm not even sure, but
I think they got a draw, I believe.
Yeah, but they've been getting results. They haven't been winning per se, but they've been getting results against bigger teams. So the point away, that's fine. But I think this weekend was really telling and what they should be worried about. So, but I think they'll be okay. It's not helping that yes, and so did Guardiola. I think those 2 injuries will be tough for them to cope with because I don't think they're very deep in their back line, and then also those are just 2 huge misses, if I'm being honest. So, and then you have rumblings of Ake potentially leaving this window. So, we'll see where they go, especially after this week. But yeah, this weekend would be the worry if I was a City fan.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Like Mike said, it's just they came across 2 tough teams. Like Gabriel said, Sunderland's been a tough team to play, especially against the top 6. Definitely better than all the relegation teams. I mean, they've definitely been one of my surprises all season. Not only the start that they had, but the fact that they're still sustaining it. But City will be cool, bro. They're going January. We're in January. They're gonna buy some players. So
yeah, Semenyo on the way anyway.
Man.
Yeah, they're gonna need a lot of
like we already. Yeah, I was gonna say we know they weren't gonna win all their games, all the remaining of their games. So they're gonna drop some points on the road here and there. So dropping points against Chelsea is not surprising to me.
No, that's fair enough. Pep always figures it out. If there's one manager in the Premier League that we can kind of bank on figuring it out, I think we can all agree that it's Pep Guardiola. But, Aston Villa, Unai Emery is another manager that's definitely figured out the Premier League these last few years. This Aston Villa team, was on a roll, 11 in a row until they met up with mighty Arsenal. But Villa had a very, very interesting week. The loss against Arsenal, but then the big 3-1 bounce back against Nottingham Forest over the weekend. I said it in our group chat that Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins are doing whatever they can to make this English national team roster for the summer. They said we're gonna be in this World Cup 25, whether y'all want us to or not. Just in the way that they've been playing, in this crazy run that Villa has had. Aston Villa, do we think this is a team that stays in the top 4 through the end of the year if they can keep this? I mean, if they keep this consistently, they're in the top 4. But do we think they'll be able to keep this up through the end of the year, way through?
For sure, bro. I mean, when I watch them play, bro, like I don't look at a team that like it's just they're having a good moment. This is like they're just riding this hot streak. Almost every game that I'm watching them play, more times than not, you guys are the better side. So no, I think the biggest asset on their team is their manager. You got to give some of those guys credit. Morgan Rogers building off of a great season from last season. Ollie Watkins started off slow, but is whether it be a goal or assist, he's affecting the game. And I mean defensively, they've been pretty sound as well too. They're not conceding all like that. So no, I think if they're able to stay healthy, I see the team firmly in the top 4. I mean, to me, they're one of the top 3 teams in the league, and it's not. I don't think it's close right now.
Probably. I mean, just with their lead right now, they'll have to drop a lot of games to. I mean, they're 8 points ahead of their 4th place. So, I mean, that's 3 matches in total. I mean, they would have to drop matches pretty consistently, which I just don't see them doing. And also, Selam is right. Unai Emery is an amazing manager, one of the best in the league. I think personally one of the best in the world, especially with how he's, handling this Villa team. So, I don't really see them. I don't see them dropping too many points or dropping out of the top 4. I don't see there being like a top 4 race with them. I think teams maybe will get close at a certain point, but I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be in a Champions League spot confirmed for next year.
I agree with Dave. I think they're definitely very consistent, probably one of the most consistent teams in the Premier League for sure. And Unai Emery is also, like Gabe said, really great coach. He always figures it out. So I think right now they have the same amount of points as City, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good.
Only thing that's going to get them in trouble is goal differential. That's my biggest thing. My biggest record, they don't score enough. But
yeah,
Ollie Watkins has been picking it up, so hopefully they can get some more goals.
Fair enough. And that leads right into Arsenal. Y'all were the team to end their win streak, their historic 11 unbeaten or 11 game win streak, I should say. I shouldn't even say unbeaten. Kind of just give me your thoughts on Arsenal's week. In a week where City dropped points massively, you guys were able to collect 3 points in both your midweek and weekend match. Midweek, obviously, being against Aston Villa, that was the match of the week. But what did you see from Villa? You guys were able to handle them very, very handily, 4-1 in a match where people were kind of expecting Villa to kind of show a little bit more, I feel like. But Arsenal just showed their class and was able to go through. And I wouldn't say roll over, but in that second half, you guys definitely were the more dominant team. So kind of give me your thoughts on Villa and then just Arsenal's week in general.
I mean, the Villa match, I know we still started off pretty slow, if I'm being completely honest. I thought the first half they're kind of on us, if I'm being honest, and they had multiple chances to score, and they just didn't take advantage of it. I can picture one of Ollie Watkins missing pretty much like a sitter. They should have put on frame, but they definitely had a chance to go up in the first half. Ryan made some good saves defensively. somehow scraped it together and we're fine. Then I think, with the set piece and Gabriel opening up the scoring, I think they had to be a little bit more expansive, which only played into our hands because of the quality and the players that we have. And um, when you kind of get into a running match with us where we're allowed to have these 5-on-4s and these 6-on-4s, 4v3s, I think we excel in our class shows, and we're just able to take care of business at home. I know that. Excuse me. I know that we lost to them at Villa Park. It's not what we expected. It's something that was a sour taste in our mouth, and I know our team definitely remembered that. So I knew when we had them back at home that we're going to take care of business. I called it GRG. I knew that we're going to win this match and get it back in blood. So Villa was cool 4-1. I was happy to see Gabriel Jesus score. Score a goal on his return as well, which is really, really nice for the cherry on top. My biggest thing was in that match was just giving away a goal. I think it was just so stupid that we gave away a clean sheet and a goal late in the match to Aston Villa. So that was really my only gripe with the game. But outside of that, I thought we played great. Moving forward to Bournemouth this weekend, I think we were a lot better than this side once again. David Raya definitely made some saves and got us out of some situations, but I think we were the better side on the day. I think we again made it hard on ourselves by getting goals scored against us to make the games even tighter. Great finish in the second half by the guy. I can't remember their name, but he had an unstoppable goal. It was a great strike against Raya to make it 3-2, but I don't think they should score that first goal in the first place. I think their only goal in the day should be that one goal that we gave up. So for me, it's just tightening up our back line and stop giving away cheap goals and making the games harder on ourselves, because against better teams, when it's 2-1 and we give up a goal, we could potentially drop points at that moment. So I think like I said, we made the game harder on ourselves this past weekend with Bournemouth, just with giving up, dumb goals, but you were able to get the 3 points again, especially on a week where, Liverpool dropped points, City dropped points. We beat Villa midweek. So, and the grand scheme of things, they dropped points. Chelsea, you guys gained a point, but you still dropped points as well. So, on a week where everyone else around us seemingly dropped points, we're able to get max points, which is great. So, I'm just looking forward to the next team that we play, which will be Liverpool on Thursday, which will again be a big match for us. But this is another time to get a good result again against a good team and kind of widen that gap between ourselves and everyone else behind us. So I'm happy with our week.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, but I also feel like you shouldn't be too critical of your team. Yeah, you would like for your team to win convincingly every game. But I think you guys have showed characteristics of teams that usually win the Premier League. You win games that you're supposed to. So hey, kudos to you guys. The only hope for me is that you can keep this up. If you keep this up, hey, you might end the Premier League trophy drought.
That's the goal, obviously, but all I care about is just the Prem right now. I think it's going to be important because I think we played Chelsea two times in the next month or so. We play you in the Prem, and then we also play Carabao Cup. So, I'm also one. I want to win the points in the Prem, but I think we're in the semifinal of a cup, and I want to win that too. So I know that's coming up in a month, and I really want. I know it'll be a tough week for us, fans, but I definitely do want us to go ahead and get a result and be in the final. There's no reason that we shouldn't be in the Cup final, especially with everything that's going on over at Chelsea Football Club too. So yeah, I think we're definitely on our way. We're performing a lot better than we were last year, and we're getting a lot of a lot of the points that we dropped last year, we're getting results this year, and I think that's the big difference maker. Last year,
Yeah.
Bournemouth away, we dropped points. I believe Villa did the double over us last year. We dropped points away at Fulham, I believe, last year. These are a lot of these wrongs that we had last year. We're correcting and making them right this year, which I think will be the huge difference maker. There's this guy that Yasser and I have been sending this back and forth, but there's this guy who's like comparing results, all of our results last year compared to this year, and there are a lot more wins or draws where there were losses last year. So I think that's constituting to our success. And yeah, let's just keep performing and keep scoring and
Gabe, I got two questions for you. Which year was it that Arsenal was leading the Premier League for like 90% of the time, and then which year was that? 2 years ago?
No,
22, I think.
22, 23.
Yeah.
So do you think the Arsenal team of this season is better than that one?
Duh.
And also like I'm feeling like very like demanding, uncompromising, vibes from you regarding Arsenal this season. Is that why?
I mean, yeah. If you look at our performance when that first year when we were leading most of the way and then we ended up falling short, that was premature, bro. Like that season was premature. I feel like we weren't near as good as we are now. Like this team is leaps and bounds ahead of where we were 3 years ago. Our back line is like, bro, we still had Rob Holding. Did we have Colossi? I think we might still have Colossi in that. Like, bro, we had Kieran Tierney, we had Tommy
Oh, geez.
like, bro,
Tommy Ass.
Bro, we had, not saying that these are players, but if you look at our back line then compared to our back line now, if you look at our midfield back then compared to what it is now, you look at our front three then to what it is now, and then you look at all of their supporting roles. Like Madueke started this week. He looked great against against Bournemouth. He looked great this week. You know what I mean? So, we have Saka back up now. Like we have Odegaard back up. We have a Declan Rice back up. We have a Zubamendi backup. We have a Saliba backup, which we didn't have for years. We have a Gabriel backup. We have multiple backups for all these players. So, yeah, why do you think when early in this episode when I said I don't want to hear nothing about any injuries, bro? I haven't had a full squad on.
Yeah.
Swear down, I haven't had a full squad. I haven't had a full everyone available. I haven't had that since day one. And we've been having injuries pile on top of that, on top of that, on top of that, on top of that since Saka's been out, Odegaard's been out, Rice was out for a couple of games. So Mendy was out, Marino was out. Like Gabriel was out for months. Saliba was out. I don't want to hear it. Mascara's out right now. Like Calafiori's out right. I don't want to hear nothing about injuries from no team, bro. No team. We have
injuries too. Shit.
Sure, yes, but bro, when quote unquote when we bottled it 3 years ago, right? And I tried to say injuries, we were playing with Rob Holding. Nobody wanted to hear it. Oh no,
yeah,
all you guys are. No one wanted to hear nothing. So now that we have the team to back it up, and now that injuries are happening all over the place, and I don't want to hear nothing about no injuries about any team, bro. None. I don't want to hear a single word about injuries, bro. I've been dealing with injuries from back then, and no one wanted to hear it. So when it comes to other teams now, I don't want to hear it because I'm not even hearing about my own team now. When Saliba goes down, we have Mascara. We should be okay. We have Hank Copy and Calafiori. We should be okay. If you don't want to hear about injuries, go spend the money. We spent the money, so go spend the money. You guys have money. Chelsea has money. City has money. I don't know about United, but hey, most of our teams have money. So I don't want to hear nothing about injuries, this and that, and we didn't have this guy, we didn't have that guy. No, all that to me is dead. Every time someone brings up an injury talk to me, unless their full 16 is down, and let's say have 16 men down, they're playing with youth players, I don't hear nothing about injuries, bro. Nothing, because we've been through it, we're past it, we have the players now, and we've been able to. We've proved that through all of our injuries, we're still able to get results. So I don't want to. nah. Our team 3 years ago compared to now is completely different. The mindset is completely different. Now this team has the experience of losing multiple times and being in that position to know that what they need to do to see the to cross the finish line. So nah, this team is completely different than 3 years ago. And I have high expectations for this team. Like I said in the beginning of the season, I think we grabbed 2 trophies this year. One of the big ones is coming home with us. I don't care if it's the Prem, I don't care if it's Champions League, but one of those trophies is coming with us. And I want a smaller trophy. I think we still need to take over domestically, and either Kyle Bauer or FA Cup needs to come with us. So those have been my standards since the beginning of the season. I think the team has the same standards of the goals. I think they want a big one too, whether it's Champions League or the Prem. So
you're feeling that double this year.
I think yes. I think from the fans to from the owners, to the staff, to the players, to the fans, I think everyone is on one accord of this has to be a year where we grab something. We don't care what big one it is. It could be Champions League for the first time. It could be the Prem for the first time in 20 years since the Invincibles. But one of them has to come, or else there's going to be an uproar. So I think we're all collectively in the same headspace and in the same unit right now.
He said, "From I'm round away, we gonna leave here with something." No, but I feel like that's a great answer. Both of those questions. I mean, Arsenal they have been one of the better teams in the Premier League the last 3 years. There was a graphic that came out that said if you look at the amount of points per club over the last 3 years, Arsenal's leading the pack. So I feel like it's only right that this year they do get something to kind of, put some emphasis behind those numbers, because it looks all good and dandy when you're winning matches and you're taking control of your destiny. But at the end of the day, we fight for trophies, we fight for championships, we fight for silverware. So, you have to come home with something. And I feel like Arsenal is in that win now mode. So that's a great place to end with Arsenal. Just moving along down the table. Chelsea. Talk of the town this week, considering everything that we've gone through. And, I don't really want to dwell too much on the games to start. I'll let Mike talk about those, but I do want to talk about the state of Chelsea right now, because we're frustrating. We're very, very frustrating as an organization. I don't even want to say as a club, as a whole organization, because, before we started recording, I was talking about how we're essentially being run by money men. We're being run by financial guys. And, right now, Chelsea under this Blue Co consortium does not seem to have winning in goal. Winning does not seem to be the mindset. I just want to go through a quick little brief history of Chelsea since 2022, right? So this is just from the Wikipedia page. In March 22, former Chelsea FC owner, Russian businessman Roman Abramovich was sanctioned by the Western governments in response to the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. As a result, he had to sell the club. The sub was sold to the Blue Co consortium that's led by Todd Bowley and basically Todd Bowley and Bedad at Bali. Those were the two main guys that were going to be taking over this Chelsea team. May 25th, 2022 is when they officially took over. So let's go from our managers from May 25th, 2022 until now. Thomas Tuchel was there from essentially when Blue Co took over till September 7th, 2022.
R.I.P.
After Thomas Tuchel, we had Graham Potter, who lasted for a total of 206 days, from September 8th, 22 to April 2nd, 2023.
The boys gave everything.
After Harry Graham Potter, we had Bruno Saltor just for 4 days to kind of take over right before we appointed Frank Lampard for the second time in 2.5 years. He lasted 85 days on his second go-around. After Frank Lampard, we had Mauricio Pochettino, who lasted from July 1st, 2023 to May 21st, 2024. Not even a full year, just 325 days. Finally, we got on to Enzo Maresca, who in our last 5 managers had been our most successful, getting us 2 trophies. He lasted 549 days, about 18 months. Now we have new Callum McFarlane, who's been here for a total of 4 days and managed to get a draw against Man City. Bruh, it's so frustrating because when you look at last Sunday, I was on here talking about when I look at this week, I expect 4 points at a minimum. I expect to win the midweek match, and I expect to go into City and get a result. Midweek match went how it went. Next day, we're finding out via social media that Enzo Maresca is gone. New Year's Day, we're finding out that our manager is gone. No real noise, just very, very quietly after the match. He apparently left the dressing room silently, didn't talk to nobody. And, this has been something that's been brewing for the last few months. Mike and I have talked about Enzo Maresca not getting along with the board on here. We've talked about how when Levi Colwell went down, all he wanted to do was get one defender because what was our issue all of last year? We leaked goals in the back. Over the summer, we didn't take care of business by signing a serious central back, a serious outside back, a serious defender who was going to be able to take over, be it that anybody go down. And instead we go and get 2 wingers in Jamie Gittins and Garnacho. Didn't make sense. Enzo Maresca is doing all he can to keep this team afloat. Goes through a little bit of a rough patch these last few weeks. Mike and I were on here saying that we all considered this blip to be something that Maresca had to figure out. But with this Blue Co consortium, with this Blue Co ownership, it's just frustrating when I look at them because when you look at who was our manager when we came in, Thomas Tuchel, who at that point had been one of Chelsea's best managers of recent, was able to get us the Champions League, had put us through 3 finals. Ultimately, we only got 1 out of those 3 finals, some of those being Carabaos and FA Cups that we fell short. But he was able to get us what Chelsea fans are expected. Get us to a final, get us a trophy. He wasn't even given a month after the Blue Coat team came in. He was given 7 matches, and after those 7 matches, they got him out of there. Fine, that wasn't your guy. Cool, whatever. Then we go through the list of everyone I just said, Graham Potter, Frank Lampard, Pochettino. None of them were able to even last a year. And why is that? Because they weren't able to get the thing that the one Chelsea fans and ownership expect, trophies or getting to a final. Pochettino got us to finals. Graham Potter even got us to, I believe, a final. But those guys weren't able to get us over the hump. Okay, so cool. We go and we get, Pep's new golden child. We already know about Arteta and what he's been doing at Arsenal, but this new guy on the scene, Enzo Maresca, Pep's second golden goose. We go and get him for a year, and what is he able to do all last year? He's able to get us to 2 finals. He's able to get us through the Champions League or back into the Champions League. He's able to get us a Club World Cup where he had me over the summer boasting Chelsea as a top 3, top 4 club in the world. And then through whatever happened this year in these next 4 months, you're now taking the most winningest coach that you've had under your ownership, and you're just kicking him to the side because of whatever he asked for, you guys weren't willing to give him. So now, I look at Chelsea and I say, what is the point of our club? What are we here fighting for? What is the goal of the club now? Because if it's not winning championships, if it's not developing players, if it's not developing our club, our club academy, what do you want our manager to go out there and do? And that's a frustrating part for the fans because, when you look at what Chelsea has been through these last 4 years, it's astonishing that we're even back at this height so quickly. I mean, we talk about it all the time. United's been in a rebuild for the last 10 years. Arsenal went through their rebuild, and it was ugly, but at least they got through it. Liverpool was able to go through their rebuild quickly. Chelsea, it seems like our ownership is our biggest op right now. They don't want us to win. They feel like it's just a team where, okay, we can build money off of this. This is just a money-making scheme for them. Because all the things that are coming out since Enzo Maresca has, quietly left, has been that he wasn't able to control the substitutes. He wasn't able to control the team sheets sometimes. He was given orders to play certain youth players to boost their stock, to boost their rating, in case that we might sell them over the summer. And now we're going to get, no shade, Mr. Rose Senior from Strasbourg, who again seems like it's going to be another puppet because Strasbourg is another team owned by Blueco, to come and manage a Chelsea team that is fighting for. We talked about it. We see Arsenal in a cup semifinal. We're in a top 6. We're in Champions League. We're in the Carabao Cup. We're in the FA Cup. This is a Chelsea team that a month ago I was looking at potentially fighting for 3 or 4 trophies this year. In just 6 days now, the way that our season could go, we could end up bottom of the table with no trophies. And so for me, I just don't know what the point. I don't know what the owners are trying to do with the club. I don't know how far we can go now that this whole shakeup has happened. And I'll talk about this week because, we were able to get points against City. But even while I watched the match, I feel like this is a game where had we had Maresca, we might have won this match. Because the whole first half, you could tell that we were kind of just sitting back, hoping that City didn't score against us. There was no press. There was no real attacking threat in the first half. We were essentially just playing counterattacking football, hoping that we didn't get scored on. When I look at some of the positives in this Chelsea match against City, I mean, we, for lack of a better term, we shut down we shut down Haaland. His first touch was in the 25th minute of this match. Yeah, he had his few chances. Yeah, he hit the post. But for the most part, we neutralized Haaland. Haaland, who's been on a scoring tear. For the most part, we neutralized Phil Foden. Phil Foden, who's been back in form this year. For the most part, we neutralized City. Their goal, again, was a giveaway from Badiashile in our defensive third. And within 2 quick passes, Reinders was able to get it and score. But outside of those few mistakes that we made today, Chelsea played all right. And hats off to Callum McFarlane for being able to come in and in 3 days kind of just keep the boat afloat. But how long are we going to be able to keep this boat afloat that is Chelsea Football Club? And I feel like right now the owners just don't have any idea what they're doing to the club. And as fans who have been through this whole rebuild over the last 3-4 years, we don't want to go through another rebuild. We just got through the ugly stage. And now it seems like our owners are just trying to self-sabotage. And that's the most frustrating part about Chelsea right now. Before when Roman Abramovich used to sack managers, at least we knew why he was sacking them. At least he was giving them chances to say, hey, thank you for winning all that you did in the last year or two, but it's not looking great. You have the next 5 matches to figure it out. And if you don't figure it out, thank you for your service, but we're going to have to go elsewhere. This ownership group doesn't have anything figured out because we're sacking managers and then we don't even know who the next guy we're going to appoint is. We're sacking managers and then we're looking at a 2nd or a 7th place manager in Ligue 1, which is arguably an easier league than the Premier League, to take over the reins and try to keep Chelsea afloat.
By the way, I think that's a terrible move. Just for football in general. That's why I'm not a big fan of multiple club ownership, because imagine how Strasbourg fans feel now. You just
and that's the other part, Poppy. Strasbourg, this is a club where in the last 3-4 years they've been growing higher and higher ever since Wilco took over from them. Yeah. Their president is now saying that he might resign because the president of Strasbourg has been given the funds. He's been given the liberty to do what he's been able to do over there. He's gotten them to rise through the ranks. Now they're on the verge of getting a European spot for the first time in how many years? Who's talked about Strasbourg in Ligue 1 until these last few years where they've gotten the influx of money? They've gotten the influence of Chelsea players being able to go back and forth. And so now this is a team that's starting to grow and make their own strides in Ligue 1. They're finding a manager who's able to grow with them and actually implement his plans on a team and actually grow as a manager. This is a team that's in a great spot. And now we're ripping the best part of the team away from them just to try to appease what they think is right. And so for me, it's
sad.
it's sad, it's frustrating, and at the end of the day, it's self-sabotage to both teams. Because now you have a team that's already in shambles, having to go through another rebuild potentially, having to go through a whole new change of ideas potentially. And then you have a team that's finally gained stability, and now we're going in and we're taking out the one thing that's been able to make them grow. So for me, man, as a fan, as someone that's got to talk about Chelsea and be real honest with who we are and what we've been doing, I can't defend this, bro. It's undefensible. And for me, it's one of those things that makes me look at my club and really wonder, like, what are we actually doing here? What's the point of the club at this point? Like, what is the main point of our club? And these are the things that we want to ask our owners, but these guys hide behind suits and they just do what they want because that's what they can do. But you know, it was a little long-winded, but I just had to get that shit off because Chelsea for me has been in a place where we can finally look and say, dang, this team has finally gotten to the place where we can actually, you know, get behind them. And now, you know, I said it in the group chat, but I was being dead serious. This team we might be a mid-table club until 2030, depending on how things go this year. Like I said earlier, 6 points separate 4th place from 14th place. It's not a stretch to say that at the end of next week, we could be a bottom table club. Depending on how these next few matches go, it is not a stretch to say that we can be a second or a bottom table club, a 10th place team, 11th place team. And so for me, it's frustrating. It's uninspiring, and I don't know where we go from here, to be honest.
And earlier you asked who was talking about Strasbourg until in Ligue 1 until a few years ago. Nobody, because they weren't in Ligue 1 until a few years ago. Strasbourg was a solid Ligue 1 team in the early 2000s back when you know Mamadou Young was playing there, and then they got relegated to Ligue 2 and then to National, which is the third tier of the French league. And you know they kept climbing back up and up. And 2017 they got back in Ligue 1, and now they're doing good. They've been solid, and all of a sudden this happens to them. It's really, really sad, man. And I don't know. I feel like y'all can comment on this. I feel like Chelsea rebuilds every 3 or 4 years. Like I don't know if I'm the only one who've noticed this, but I feel like they go through a rebuild every 3 or 4 years.
I agree,
You know?
but my only thing, sorry to cut you off, my only thing about that is that
No, go ahead.
this is different though. You know, because as Cornelia said, when Roman was here, there was a clear reason why the rumblings were happening with whoever manager. Jose, it doesn't matter what manager was. They weren't winning. You were going to answer some questions and inevitably get the sack. These decisions that are being made here are ego-driven and financially driven. Because a lot of teams, my team is one of them, has shown that you don't necessarily need to be successful on the pitch to be a successful club. Chelsea's a big club. They know that. And honestly, it's a money-making machine. And I think that it's unfortunate. You're essentially saying what I've been saying when we first started. When we first started this with Africans Talk Football, I told you guys with Ole. They brought this guy in who's pinching himself every day he walks into work, who they know will be a pushover for him. And here we are. I don't think – I agree that they do rebuild, but every time that they rebuild, they bring in a new guy, they reload with players. And I don't think it's going to be like this with them. They're going to continue bringing in people to do what they want to do. And if you don't fall in line with that, they will replace the manager. That's how I see it. This is a completely different territory that I guess Chelsea's walking into right now.
Do you guys think it's possible to ever have a model where the manager doesn't have the overall say on, you know, how the squad is picked? Do you guys think it'll ever work?
No. because they're the ones in there day to day.
So why are these guys thinking that that's something that could possibly work? Why
Ego.
are medical staff determining? Okay, yeah, you probably know the guy's injury. You know maybe the amount of days off he needs, how he should come back, whatever. But football doesn't always work like that.
No.
In certain games, like the game we took Palmer off when the 60th minute. Now I'm looking back and thinking, okay, it makes sense now why he came off, because it wasn't Maresca's decision. Because a football manager, knowing that he needs the win, is not going to take off his best player. So now it makes sense why he comes off at the 60th minute, because guess what? Maresca is not making that decision. If you're going to bring a manager in and think that, the guys that are sitting back in the offices are the ones that are going to control how the squad works, it's just never going to work. Like, I'm just tired right now. One small, amount of consistency we find, and we have to, dismantle all of that because our visions aren't aligned. Shut the fuck up. You were trying to tell me for 18 months our visions didn't align? It doesn't make sense. Like, as fans, I was telling Cornelius, one thing I feel like we fans should go out there, we have to demand some fucking explanation. I don't care. Put out a fucking statement explaining how everything went down, because it just doesn't make sense. If this is pure vision, then you're lying to me. If you're saying this is just pure vision, because what happened the last 18 months? You're telling me the visions aligned the last 18 months, and then maybe the last month it didn't align. Yes, we needed Cole Palmer. Clearly, we did. I know for a fact when they're talking about the medical stuff, I know it comes from him specifically, because we went from he's 2 weeks away to he's a month away to he's 2 weeks away to this happened. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was just he's back now, he's not. He's back now, he's not. And maybe that's where the disconnect happened. But I still don't believe in a model where the manager doesn't have that much control. It just won't work. And I feel bad for the new guy. I just feel bad for him.
Mike, you work at Amazon, right?
Yeah.
But you work in IT. Would it make sense for your IT boss to go down to the warehouse and tell them how to do their job?
Yeah.
Does it make sense for the president to tell the does it even make sense for the sporting director or the president to tell the medical team how to do their job, or the medical team how to manage an in-game decision on the pitch within the 90 minutes? No, it doesn't make sense. The reason that you compartmentalize is so that you have people here who are in charge of this, people here who are in charge of this, and people here who are in charge of that. You let the operations be operations. You let the gameplay be the gameplay. You let the medical staff be the medical staff. And once you start getting, like I said, too many cooks in the kitchen, this is where visions start to not align anymore. And like Mike said, for the last 12 months, 18 months, everything was fine. Last year, we won 2 trophies. Boli was down there. Bali was down there saying, this is the guy we want to stay behind. I'm seeing reports of Maresca leaving $14 million of money on the table.
Bro, that's crazy.
All sorts of and just like Mike said, now that we're hearing these little rumors here and there, you start to look at decisions that were made in the last month, in the last couple of months, in the last 3 months, and saying, oh, so maybe that's why it happened.
Yeah.
Maybe Cole Palmer never stubbed his toe. Maybe he never broke his toe. Who knows if that's a real story or not?
Yeah.
We don't know anymore. And as fans, we have to demand that these guys say something. Otherwise, they'll just continue to lead this team into the abyss.
What have been one of the things they've been doing? Oh, support the club, support the players, get behind the guys. We're fucking getting behind the guys, and then you guys keep pulling the rug under us every fucking time. Like, I'm tired of this, man. Like, I genuinely just woke up, saw it on my phone. I'm like, I don't feel anything. I really don't feel anything anymore.
couldn't even
It's like
say Happy New Year before you get alerts on your phone.
looking at it like, wow, he's really out.
Maresca's
that was your happy
what
New Year,
sense
man.
does this
didn't even
make?
seem right. We're waking
Bro.
up January 1st to reports that the guy walked out of the locker room, didn't say anything to anybody, and now he's not our manager.
It's crazy.
Man,
It's an organizational.
away
It's,
with
it's
this.
clearly an organizational problem because it's never been about the money. Chelsea is they have 4 of the top 10 highest transfer window spends ever in football. They are the biggest spending club in football history. Last time I checked. So how do you do all of that and still have these problems? Because
That's the thing.
you say that same thing for a lot of clubs, and right now it's success and trophies every year. You know, so how do you do all of that and still have these problems?
You gotta put him in his
That's
place.
organizational.
Like Selam said, ego. I mean, why should I be seeing my owner's name in squad decisions? Like what? It's like get out of there. Let the manager handle that. It's like stop. That's why I agree with Selam. Ego is part of it. That you have to step in line. You have to be in line. If you're not, we're not gonna take you disrespecting us or challenging us. I feel like that's part of it.
They told him we did you a favor.
Yeah.
We brought you from the championship. No one knew who you were. And you want to come up here and buck because you wanted a center back? Bro. Stay in your as far as like a public notice, public service announcement, you're not getting that, man. Stay in your lane, man. We're just fans, bro.
And the worst part is like all this is going to do is just deter real managers from coming here, deter players from coming here. And, you know, the football world is small, man. Everybody is hearing this story right now. And, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, I remember, who was it? Jamie Carragher saying, who wants to come to this Chelsea project? Who would want to come to this Chelsea product? And I looked at him like, bro, everybody kind of wants to come to this Chelsea product. We're buying young players. We're buying youth. We have Maresca at the helm. And now when I look at this Chelsea organization, I don't know why anyone would want to come to this project anymore. Because every 3 years, it's a new project. Not even 3. Every year and a half to 18 months, it's a new project.
Any disagreement, your job might be at risk.
Don't play. Right. This new kid. That's why this new kid that they brought in. No, they know he's not going to say a word. I am happy to be here.
We'll see. I mean, from the videos I've seen, he seems a little feisty, but we'll see.
Granted, while every 3 years it seems to be a new project, granted, they do win every other year or something. You know, granted. I guess that's the only positive you can get from this situation.
But Poppy, the dream we were sold on, the dream we were sold on was we're gonna go buy a bunch of 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, and through the next 5 years, this is going to be the core of our team. That's the dream we were sold. Hey, let's go get a whole bunch of youth players who are up and coming. Let's develop this talent and let's run the Premier League for the next 5 years. That was the dream we were sold on.
Yeah, we have
that was during the Graham Potter era. That was when we were initially sold the dream. Then it became Frank Lampard. Then it became Pochettino, and now it became Enzo Maresca. We finally found a guy to kind of put the pieces together, start to stitch some fabric together to start to look like a kit. And then now we haven't had a front of the shirt sponsor for the last 18 months. Why? Because nobody wants to be involved with us, fam. We don't know who the next manager is going to be. So why would we even think about a front of the shirt sponsor? Think about that. It's been a whole year since we've had one. And so for me, it's like, I don't know what's going on anymore, man. It's one of those things that's frustrating to look at from my club because now I have to just hope and wish that the next week we can get through. It's not even looking towards, the semifinal that we have against Arsenal. It's can we even get through this week, fam? That's where we're at right now. So I don't know. For Chelsea Football Club, it's frustrating, man. And I've seen a lot of things about the fans over in the UK boycotting this match. I heard there's going to be some sort of demonstration done leading into their next home match.
Yeah, I saw that.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens because when it happened with Arsenal, at least their owners listened up a little bit. The Cronkies. We'll see if something happens on our side. But it's very frustrating to say the least. And Selam was talking about how he talked about this with his owners at Manchester. It seems like Amorim is having some sort of similar saga over in Manny because his last 2 weeks have been, man, he's been dropping bars.
Yeah, he's talking crazy.
Yeah, but Maresca over there, he's talking like a battle rapper.
Maresca gave him the confidence.
I'm not Pep. I'm not Klopp. I didn't come here to be a coach. I came here to be the manager. So I don't know, man. What's going over on in Manny?
Dysfunction, bro. Dysfunction. It's crazy because like you look at our week. I mean, we tied a Wolves team at home, probably historically one of the worst teams I've ever seen in the Premier League play. And then we topped that off versus Leeds today with another disappointing draw. But no, I mean, for me, bro, I think if you listen to this podcast, you kind of know where I am with the manager. But at this point, where I'm at with it now, bro, this is above Amorim for me. This is like he's just a small problem within the big problem. And the big problem is the people we have running the team, man. And you're seeing like even his decisions. Like now he's going into a back four. In the middle of a game, they score, and then like right after, he changes into a back four. Which again, as a coach at any level, I feel like your decisions and how you present yourself, it kind of builds or breaks your credibility. Even though I firmly believe, kind of taking a step back, I firmly believe that the board and the ownership was wrong midweek to tell him, hey, you need to be playing in the back four. Because when we recruited him, we knew he was playing in a back three, so you clearly bought into what he was doing and how he was playing. And clearly with the players that we had, we needed to invest. I mean, these are the same players that got Ten Hag sacked. And people will say, hey, well, you bought Mbuemo, you bought, what's his name? Cunha, and you bought Sesko, but those were pieces that needed to be brought in anyway, because when you look at all the attackers that we lost, think about it, bro. Whether you think that they're good or not, we lost, who was it? Rasmus, Rashford, Anthony, Garnacho. There's 4 attackers. So those guys needed to be here regardless.
You brought in the real BS.
Hey, I think like the positions that need to be addressed are very glaring. We need midfielders that are going to be able to operate in this system. And the wide players need to be able to beat a man 1v1. We don't have that. It's not even so much that I think that because a lot of people are fixed on the formation. You're losing because of the formation. I mean, the formation could work if we had the players available. But my thing with him, though, is you must have known that they weren't going to back you. All of this started, by the way, because we're in January and he just received word, hey, bro, the whole reason why we're telling you to move into a back four is because we're not going to spend a dime in January. So when you hear that as a manager, I mean, it's discouraging. But I don't know, bro. It's he said what he said, and like you guys said, I respect what he said. I think it's good to stand up for yourself. Definitely, he was brought in to be the manager of the team, not just the coach. In certain situations, it seems as if he got the backing. Again, you made an example of guys like Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho. These guys are not going to be a part of my team. But then you're asking him to consider playing, not even consider, you need to play a back four versus Wolves, one of the worst teams in the Premier League, which clearly shows that you don't trust him as well, too. You don't trust his vision. And my thing is why did you bring him in the first place? If, like, you weren't bought into what he was trying to do. But for me going forward, I think he's gone at some point. at first I thought he was going to make it towards the end of the season, but after saying what he's saying now, like I don't see him staying past. I'd be surprised if in February he's still our manager, because clearly there's a disconnect between the way he wants to play and the board backing him or not supporting him. And I feel him though to an extent. I mean, look, bro, aside from Villa, aside from Arsenal, aside from City, it seems as if nobody else wants top four. Chelsea doesn't want top four. United don't want top four, and it's crazy.
It's gonna go to Sunderland, man. It's gonna somehow end up Sunderland way.
Yeah, like Sunderland's building upon the great start of the season that they had, and you look at them and you're probably thinking, okay, like that's another team. But again, it's like you're telling me we can't finish over Sunderland. You're telling me that Chelsea can't finish over Sunderland or whoever's behind us. I don't know whoever's behind us, but I know that the points aren't that far off.
Brentford is in the mix now after today.
Yeah, and I mean it just makes you question because we're not going to get anybody in. They were talking about how short term they wanted to bring in Conor Gallagher and Ruben Neves. Those were short term solutions that they wanted to bring in, but I think it just says a lot. I think that there's a lot of dysfunction. I think this week was a big week for us, just like it was for Chelsea. I think a lot of things, a lot of expectations were set. I think a lot of promises probably were, I wouldn't say broken, but definitely influenced, because I get it though. Like if you're the board as well too, how can I sit here and say, hey guys, like we need to back him again in January with another 200 million? Like you make poor decisions. Like you don't, I don't know. Like it's hard for me to be like, hey, this guy warrants, reinforcement. But at the end of the day, I believe you should do it because, like I said, you uprooted this guy mid-season from the club that he was at. You knew damn well, all four of us knew damn well what he played before he stepped foot in Old Trafford. Mm-hmm. And we knew with the players that we had, it was going to be an adjustment. And I even said, hey, I like the fact that you're sticking with this. But surely, Amorim, you just didn't find out that like they weren't going to back you. Bro. People speak by their actions. You can tell me this and that. People speak by their actions in any capacity of life. You can tell me this, you can tell me that. At the end of the day, I need to see the money being spent and being like, hey, we're going to get you a solid left wing back, a solid right wing back. We're going to get you at least a center midfielder to shore up this team, and let's see if we can make a top four push. But clearly it just shows the disconnect that's there between the manager and the director of football, which my last point was just going to be, because Amorim, like I said, we'll move on, but we need to have a conversation about this whole Ineos thing. This whole like just charade of just like, we've gotten the best people from all the best positions. And when you look at them on paper, they are very accomplished in their fields. I'm not discrediting them at all. But Jason Wilcox, like, it's never good that I hear from you. This guy turned down Turkey to sign Turkey because Turkey grabbed his crotch at Old Trafford when people were bantering him. You don't think Iran Turkey could help our team right now? And it's again, it's like, did you not read? Like, I don't know, bro. It's just,
Selam, let me ask you this: do you think since Amorim came in, it's been a year now? Do you think he's actually gotten his guys?
No, Mike, because I like I said, bro, you can tell me the three players that were brought in, which by the way, he didn't want Sesko, which clearly brush struggles. I mean, the one opportunity he got, I expected him to be better there. But before I even get on Sesko, like for the game today, we should probably look into why Delo turned the ball over, why he did. That's the reason why we went down 1-0, right? But a lot of people have time for Sesko. But nonetheless, like I said earlier, Mike, the attackers that were brought in needed to be brought in regardless because of all the attackers that we let out. Yeah. In this system, when you look at the team, Luke Shaw's playing left wing back. Like he almost has to play the players that he's being Like he almost has to play those players there because when you look at the bench, we clearly show that we're unprepared for the season. This is the third season in a row. When you look at our bench, the only senior player there is Joshua Xerxes, who had a great cameo, by the way, when he came on today, right? This is the third year in a row. You look at all the youngsters, academy kids. This is not Ten Hag had to deal with this for 2 years, and now here we are with Amber. How are we in a position? We knew Ahmad, we knew Mazraoui, we knew Mbeumo was going to be gone. We didn't know Bruno was going to be hurt. We didn't know De Ligt was going to be hurt, I guess, as well too, and Maguire. But Lissandro and Heaven are obviously center back was the only position that I said I feel comfortable because we have so many of them. But it's like you're telling me you didn't know the other 3 African players were there. You're telling me that like. So to answer your question, like, no, I don't think he's gotten his guys. Delo can't be playing. We played 6 defenders today, Mike. We only had the only 2 attackers that we had. I'm sorry, it was more than that. The only attackers that we had were Sesko and Cunha, which thank God we bought them in this year because I don't know who else would have been played. Everybody else was defenders. We played Euro, we played Heaven, we played Luke Shaw, we played Delo, we played Dorgo. That's 6 defenders, bro. Like that's it tells me you are unprepared for the season. And it's how? No, he didn't get his guy.
So he kind of has the right to be upset for if they're not bringing in anybody in January. Because if you pluck me out of my team mid-season and I've been here a year now and you fully haven't invested like the way I wanted or you promised, I should feel some type of way.
Yeah. Last summer, remember we weakened our team last summer. We let go of Anthony. We let go of Sancho. We brought in Dorgu, an unproven
McTominay. All those guys walked.
Yeah. I mean, don't even get me started on like those options. But it's like it's again like you can't expect this same team got someone fired. Like I don't understand. We see the same patterns with certain guys, and it's just no, I don't think he's been backed. I think that the players, like I said, who came in the summer needed to come in. And now, here we are in January. Top 4 is completely wide open. And it looks like you're going to be departing here soon as well, too. So that we can probably bring in Darren Fletcher. I know this team like the back of my mind, bro. Bro, I know it's going to happen. He's going to leave, and best believe the person that we bring in will be Darren Fletcher.
You got to coach his kids, man.
Yeah, he's whack too. It's like he's whack too, though, bro. It's like out of all the youngsters that you could have brought on, you bring on Fletcher. We have Shea Lacey there. Like I don't know what's the guy Obi. You telling me we need an attacker? We need some sort of spark. Let's bring on Jack Fletcher. Yeah.
What happened to my boy? What's his name? Is it Harry Amas?
Oh, Amas. Yeah, he's on loan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's on loan. He's on loan. There's a few other youngsters that were on loan. That Toby, what's his name, just came back. But no, bro. The team.
Yeah, what happened to the guy you guys got at Arsenal? What's his name? Obi something.
He's on the bench. He warms up.
Wow, he never plays though. I haven't seen him.
You remember when we went to the preseason game, Chelsea and Man City, and we stayed afterwards and we saw them run sprints afterwards? Yeah, that's what Obi's doing, bro. But yeah, man, it's tough. Top 4 is wide open.
It is.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say top 4. That 4th spot is wide open right now, and
yeah,
top 5. From 4 all the way down to 14 is only 6 points. And just like Selam, you're right, man. It's open, and none of our teams want to go take it.
Nobody.
It's so frustrating to watch from our clubs who were supposed to be the most ambitious clubs, not just in England, but in all of Europe, in all of the world. These are supposed to be, quote unquote, the most ambitious clubs. And yet we're sitting down here twiddling our thumbs trying to figure out who is going to be our next manager.
We sit here and tell ourselves about like, oh, the Premier League is just so tough. It's like, no, it's not, bro. The teams that are supposed to be good are just whack. That's what it is. Look at Arsenal. Like they don't play around with their food over here.
I've been saying that for a long time.
Nah, bro. Like,
yeah. I mean, let's hope there's 5 spots again this season.
Leeds sucks. I'm
Let's hope.
sorry. Shout out to you Leeds fans, man. But Leeds, you guys suck. We just suck more. Like, bro. Like, nah, man. We can move on.
Yeah, man. I feel like that's a good place to move on. Man, you know what? Let's switch the vibe.
Be careful. Don't get copyrighted. Don't get us copyrighted.
Hey, AFCON! AFCON! Yo, that was
that keeps
funny,
giving,
man. For real. So apparently the Democratic Republic of Congo fans made a song, and this was the song that they've made for the team. Man, AFCON. The vibes have been vibing.
Is like the WWE of football, bro.
It really is, man. It really is.
Pure.
Last week when we were on here,
man, pure entertainment every day.
Facts. Last week when we were on here, we we talked about our predictions on who we thought was going to get through the group stages because there were still the match week 3 matches. And now we are in the knockout rounds. So kind of just wanted to go through the teams that officially made it to the knockout rounds and kind of talk about those last round 3 matches. And then we can get into, the teams that have already played in the knockout rounds and what we expect following. But round 3 was pretty massive. The teams that made it to the round of 16 were Mali, Tunisia, Senegal, Sudan, Egypt, Benin, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Algeria, and Republic of Congo, Nigeria, Mozambique, South Africa, Cameroon, and then Morocco, Tanzania. Those were the 16 teams that made it. And in those groups of 2 that I just paired off, those are who we're going to see each other in the round of 16. We've already seen some matches, but, Poppy, we talked about your team, Senegal, a little bit, but just talk about that round 3, the groups that got through. Were there any surprises on your end? And as we go into the knockout rounds, were there any surprises in these first couple of days of round of 16 matches?
Yeah, there were a couple surprises. So there were a couple of surprises for me. A couple of teams that didn't make it. Obviously, first surprise. Well, I knew they weren't going to make it by last episode. That was Gabon. And it's funny. They basically dismantled their whole team. Africa is funny, man. They basically dismantled their whole team. Aubameyang is banned from the team because he left for his club before the last game. A lot of people are saying they weren't eliminated yet officially, but they were, because in AFCON you count the direct games. Like if 2 teams have the same amount of points, we see who won when they played each other, and whoever won is the one that goes through. So still I get it. I mean, when you talk about AFCON needs to be respected, of course a move like this kind of gets people talking, because I've seen people say like, hey, if it was the World Cup he wouldn't leave, and I'm like, well, yeah, but in fairness to him, when the World Cup happens, there's no club football going on. Exactly. So where do you live to? Like, you don't go anywhere. Right now, they're eliminated. Marseille needs him. His club needs him. He can help. And he asked to leave, and they granted it, and he left. And now he got banned for it, and the whole team is dismantled. Angola as well. I expected them to qualify, but they were very, very disappointing this year. Other than that, I think all the teams that were supposed to make it out made it out. Of course, you have teams that made it out without winning a single game.
Mali,
this is
Mali, actually, yeah.
before I even get to Mali, Tanzania and Sudan. Well, Sudan, I think Sudan actually did win a game, but
Yeah,
Tanzania
Sudan
they
won.
didn't
They
win
won their
a
second
game at
match. Yeah.
all. Yeah, Tanzania made it out with 2 points. Meanwhile, there are other groups where teams had, I think, 3 points and couldn't make it out. But I guess that's the luck of the draw. It is what it is. But yeah, Angola, uh, disappointing. Other than that, all the bigs made it out. So I think it's refreshing to have all the at least like 90% of the big teams, you know, still all going to the round 16. No excuses. They could just go at it. It's going to be it's already amazing. And yeah, I think for the most part it was a satisfying third round of group stage games. A lot of things to be learned in those games. Some teams that were supposed to finish first ended up finishing second, and vice versa. You had teams trying to avoid each other. You know, we get to have DR Congo versus Algeria in round 16, which is very
Yeah.
unfortunate because that's two good teams, and one of them will have to go home so early. That's sad. But again, that was funny because there was a point where um, Senegal was having a bad first half against Benin, and Congo was winning. So at that point, it was going to be Senegal, Algeria, and
Sure.
Congo was going to play Burkina Faso, I think. And like Senegal kept scoring, and then things kept changing. And now, you know, Algeria wanted to avoid Senegal. Senegal wanted to avoid Algeria, of course, and Congo didn't have the choice. They just had to score as many goals as they could. And yeah, now we get Congo versus Algeria. It's going to be the most entertaining game
Can't wait.
in the last 16. I really can't wait for that one. And yeah, other than that, I think all the teams that were supposed to make it out made it out. And yeah, if you want, we can talk about some of the last games of the group stage, or we can go straight on to the round 16.
I mean, I love there were some good matches in that group three, but those were in 2025. We talking 2026 now, baby. It's
Right.
talking big 26,
You're right.
baby. Let's start with the round of 16 because
Let's go.
those matches did start yesterday. Started off with Senegal versus Sudan, excuse me. Senegal with a 3-1 win, but I feel like the score line doesn't really show actually how the match went. The Senegal get their third goal at very, very end of the match, but it was a tough fought 3-1 loss by Sudan. And again, hats off to Sudan, who was able to make it to the group stages for the first time in many, many, many years. And, just again, everything that country has had to go through, not playing any games on home soil these past 6 months. But they ran into a Senegal team who's just too strong top to bottom.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought Senegal. I don't think they were fully prepared for Sudan, but they definitely responded after that first goal. When Sudan scored pretty early too. So I think that woke up Senegal and it made it into a good game. To be honest with me, I left that game thinking that Senegal might be the best team, because that response for me was exceptional. I mean, right after that goal, it was one-way traffic. But Sudan was also giving them, something to worry about from time to time. But from that point on, Senegal showed, okay, we're better than you, and we're going to show you in our play. And they did that. And I walked away thinking Senegal might be the best team in AFCON.
Yeah, they had us in the first 20 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. Um, that Abdallah kid, man, he has a sweet left foot.
I know.
That kid is good. He had a sweet left foot. But yeah, Hey, it's frustrating regarding Senegal, because it always feels like they always wait for a slap
Mhm.
in the face to show who they really are. And I've been complaining about that for a while now because, yeah, like against teams like Benin and Sudan, that might work, but against a big team, you might not get the chance to bounce back.
Yeah.
And Sudan was a team to be respected, and Senegal didn't respect them. um, we played Sudan twice. We were in the same group for the World Cup eliminations. We actually had a 0-0 game against them in Sudan, and then in Dakar we beat them 2-0. So we know the team very well. We should have been very well prepared, but we weren't aggressive enough at first. First 10 minutes we weren't aggressive enough, and we did the same mistake against Benin too. And that's why I always say, you know, when in African football, when you're superior to a team, you show them like early on. You let them know that this is going to be your game. That's what Morocco did against Zambia when they were when there were some sort of like danger or whatever. First 5 minutes, they were on them, making sure that they know that they're not losing this game. And Senegal did it against Benin. They did it also against Sudan. But then when Sudan scored, obviously they realized that, all right, it's time to show what our real football is. Pap Gay, exceptional, scored a brace. To me, he's our best midfield. Um, and yeah, like we made some changes in the second half. And the reason why it's frustrating is that even though we've been scoring all these goals, and Senegal right now is the team that scored the most goals, if I'm not mistaken, and also that created the most chances. But trust me, we haven't even shown like 80% of our football yet, and that's the frustrating part for me. And but still we get the job done. Easy 3-1 win. And yeah,
Oh,
we get to play. Yeah, we get to play Mali in the quarterfinals. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, Senegal definitely shows that no matter what happens, they have the options. I mean, Ilimanja didn't even play in the third game. Pab Matar Sarr only played one half in these group stages. Like we have we have players that are so talented, they're not even playing, and we're still winning these games. So it just shows that the talent is there, and we can show much more. But we definitely have to uh, start taking games more seriously and not play without food. That's one thing that Senegal does, is that they play with their food, and you can afford to do that against smaller teams, but you can't do that against big teams.
I think Mali might catch y'all slipping. Hot take, just a hot take. But you said it yourself, bro. You guys like to play with your food. I'm telling you, man, this Mali team is a dark horse. I was sad Mali and Tunisia had to play each other, uh, to start off
Bro,
the knockouts.
the
But
Yeah, let's get into that game because that was the second match
let's
yesterday.
get
Mali
yeah
won
let's
one.
get into that.
Yeah, just give a little background on that match. Mali 1-1 heading into extra time, but that 1-1 was that them first 90 minutes were kind of crazy. So Mali with a red card in the 26th minute, able to hold Tunisia all the way until the 88th minute when Tunisia scores. And then in the 96th minute, Mali equalizes with a penalty, pretty much the last kick of regular time. They go scoreless in both halves of extra time, and then Mali able to win 3-2 off a crazy penalty shootout. Um, Honestly, very very crazy penalty shootout, but it happens, man. I said this last week. Nobody wants to
I've
see Mali. This is a team that drew all three of their group stage matches, but like I said, they play with a little bit of flair. They have that West African strength, that West African, we're going to fight till the last minute. Um, and again, this is a team that still has not won a match in regular time, but continues to just keep moving. And they're one of those teams that are tricky to play against. I don't think anybody wants to see them right now.
Yeah. I don't know about you.
I've watched a lot of funny games. You want to go ahead, Mike?
Go ahead.
No, I was saying I've watched a lot of games, a lot of funny games, a lot of funny AFCON games, but that Tunisia against Mali game, bro. Oh my god. That was hard to watch. That was hilarious to say the least, man. Terrible level of football. Terrible quality level of football, man. Like
Come on, bro.
fouls everywhere.
I
No,
know.
seriously, like I've been like, to me, you know what AFCON Twitter is saying. AFCON Twitter is saying because remember the ref that stopped the game 8 minutes early, that was a Mali Tunisia last time. AFCON Twitter is saying that ref was right and that we owe him an apology because he was preventing us from this atrocity. This game was, it was not something fun to watch, but it was entertaining though, to say the least. How are you Tunisia, and Mali has a red card in the 28th minute, so you get to play with 11 men against 10 men for pretty much the whole game, and you can't even dominate. I'm not even talking about scoring. You can't even dominate, bro. Like, how is this possible? And Mali resists for the whole game, and then 89th minute they concede a goal, right? And everybody's like, okay, this is over. And then Tunisia, in the 94th minute, you concede a stupid penalty, and like it just flips everything like so quickly. And now we're gonna go to PKs because obviously Tunisia wasn't playing dominant football, so they're not gonna score in the game. And Mali is satisfied with going to PKs. When they went to PKs, Mali players were celebrating because they were like, we were down bad anyway. We had 10 men. Like this is do or die for us, And you could see in the faces of Tunisian players that they weren't comfortable. At that moment, I knew they weren't going to win the PK shootouts because you can just tell that the players weren't even, confident like that. And even though Mali almost missed the penalty in the 98th, the 95th minute, but it went in, and then they went to PK shootouts, and everybody's just missing, man. Like I think only like 3 people scored.
Yeah,
Bissouma.
Game was
I was like, bro,
Mali's first.
And it's not even missing. Like the goalkeeper is catching the ball. They're not even the ball is not even on target. Like these niggas are missing from.
Bro, Bissouma went up and skied it, and I'm like,
I was like,
that's how you're starting for Mali?
Captain, come on, bro.
Craziness.
It was
craziness. But shout out to the Mali keeper, two saves in the end.
Mali kept giving Tunisia opportunities, like golden opportunities to win the game, and Tunisia still couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And like to me, that's just it's just that was a very surprising thing for me because I thought this Tunisia team was gonna go further than that. They qualified for the World Cup. They looked solid in the group stage for the most part. Even in the loss against Nigeria, they looked solid. Mali, bro, they had a 0-0 game against Comoros. They couldn't beat Zambia. They couldn't score against Zambia against Comoros. They couldn't beat Zambia. They drew Morocco, and now we saw what happened against Tunisia. And it's funny because the head coach said he believed, like yesterday, he said, "I believe you can win the AFCON without winning a game." Like this is a legit quote from him. So basically, what we're seeing with Mali is Portugal 2016. You remember in the Euro, Portugal I think it was only against Wales that they won in 90 minutes. Other than that, they never won a single game in 90 minutes, and they won the Euro. But bro, I get it. I get what Gabe said. Mali is solid. They play physical football, and that's very important in AFCON. But if Senegal loses to this Mali team, bro, I don't know.
I don't see that happening, but Mali's definitely physical enough. It might throw you guys off your game. So I don't know. But I don't see them beating Senegal. Senegal is too clean for me. The movement, the passing, everybody seems to understand their roles. So we'll see.
That's a
I
good
would be
point.
very frustrated if we lose to this Mali team.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll get into predictions a little bit later, but we also had some matches today. Second match day of the round of 16. First, we saw Morocco beat Tanzania 1-0. Brahim Diaz netted his fourth goal to lead the Golden Boot race in AFCON.
Ashraf
Morocco,
Hakimi
did y'all expect a little bit? I wasn't able to watch the full matches today, but did y'all expect a little bit more from Morocco, or was this 1-0
Yeah.
win enough for them
Of course.
for you guys to be satisfied?
I mean, against Tanzania, one, all due respect to Tanzania, but one, especially looking at how they performed in the group stages, 1-0. Yes, you move on, you win the game, but it wasn't convincing to me. This weekend, I think the best team that I've seen is definitely Senegal. Morocco is definitely close. It's going to be an interesting matchup in the next round when they see Cameroon. I think they might have some problems when they see Cameroon, but overall, I think you took care of business. It's 1-0. You won. You move on. But against Tanzania, I felt like we should have seen more.
I've been saying it since the Comoros game. I'll say it again. I'm not convinced by Morocco still so far. They've looked shake like again they're getting the job done. They're advancing, but they're still looking shaky. It's still not the Morocco that we are supposed to see. And I feel like again Tanzania is a team that qualified without winning a game. I think did they even score a goal? I think they had like I don't know. They had
No, they scored a goal. They scored. Chill on them. Chill on
They
Tanzania.
scored? Okay. Yeah. I mean, bro, like this is a team that qualified with 2 points. You're Morocco. You're supposed to be the best, country.
Yeah,
I mean, the
one of the
best
best
team
teams.
in the
Yeah.
continent. Not only do you not beat Tanzania convincingly, but like you kind of got lucky. That goal was a lucky goal. Like the goalkeeper. By the way, funniest goalkeeper I've seen in AFCON. The Tanzanian. This guy is nuts, bro. I don't know if y'all watched the game, but yeah, that's a different story for another day. But yeah, so he made a mistake on the Brahim Diaz shot that went in. But other than that, Morocco couldn't find the net, and on top of it, again, we're talking about refereeing. Tanzania had a clear penalty that weren't called. I don't know if y'all saw the play.
VAR.
Clear contact, clear push. Guy goes down. And the craziest part, the ref doesn't even go check the VAR, bro. Like, and that's why I'm frustrated about this.
I couldn't help but think that, host nation, you got to give them some, leeway. I couldn't help but think that way, because it's like, if that would have been given,
first episode,
interesting game.
Reverse the roles. Not only does Morocco get a penalty, but the defender gets a red card or at least a yellow card.
Yeah.
If you reverse the roles, and because Morocco is leading 1-0 and it's like the 92nd minute, the ref didn't want to take.
The controversy. Can you imagine?
Yeah, he doesn't want to take that responsibility, so he doesn't even want to go look at the VAR because he knows if he goes, it's a clear penalty. So he chooses not to go, and like they should. I feel like the ref should take more responsibility. They should take more on. Like you're the ref, like you make the decisions. Whatever happens. But for me, in order, like the way I looked at it is Morocco needed help from the referee and a lucky goal to beat Tanzania 1-0, and that's not convincing to me. But still, they got the job done. Again, this happens in AFCON. When Senegal won the AFCON in 2022, it wasn't until the quarterfinals that they started showing their real football. So sometimes high quality teams like Morocco, they can only show their football against other high quality teams that go out and play. So we'll see. Against Cameroon, it's going to be tough. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. What are let's run through the rest of the other fixtures for knockout.
I was gonna say the last match we had because there was one more match
Cameroon.
today. Cameroon versus South
Oh
Africa.
yeah, shoot.
Cameroon won 2-1. Good win for Cameroon. You know, they scored
Man,
in the
very
30
good
in
win.
the
Professional
34th
one.
minute. Very good
Mhm.
goal, kind of just bouncing around. They were able to get that first goal, and then, you know, as soon as the second half started, they got their second. South Africa was able to get a goal in the 88th minute, but just a little bit too late. But yeah, this Cameroon team, they look all right. They look
Quiet,
all right.
man. Yeah. I don't know if y'all saw the
I'm
story
the
about
first guy.
their manager not getting paid, but
No,
Yeah.
I
I
didn't.
I
think
didn't see that.
I did.
he's done a phenomenal job. He's done a
Mhm.
phenomenal job with this team.
You
Yeah,
doing pro bono work?
actually, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently he
Nah,
hasn't
they
gotten
did him
paid in
dirty,
like
bro.
6 months. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, because we were getting on Ito, but I think we might owe him an apology on that. He was done dirty by the ministry for the longest part, but I guess we can talk about that later. But yeah, he's very much respected and loved in the locker room, David Pagu, and he's doing a really good job. I
Yeah.
had South Africa as my dark horse. They had amazing qualifiers in the World Cup. They qualified for the World Cup. They were third place last AFCON. I did not have them going home in the round 16. And today we were reminded of one thing: never sleep on Cameroon in AFCON. No matter how bad they look, it's still Cameroon. I slept on them.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to go home in the group stage, but you know they showed why they're five-time African champions today, and they went out there and they won the game. Even though South Africa dominated most of the game, but Cameroon got the job done. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen. Them against Morocco. Cameroon has beaten
Yeah.
the host country in AFCON five times in the history. They used to playing host countries, so it's going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah. It's almost I feel bad because Morocco look like they can get caught slipping by this team. This team just finds the back of the net for some reason. And it's almost never the same guy. That's the impressive part about it. But
Yeah,
Morocco, Cameroon, it should be fireworks.
Yeah, so we'll get into
should
some
be.
predictions for the rest of this round of 16. So tomorrow we see Egypt versus Benin. Predictions on who will win that match.
The Pharaohs.
Egypt. Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah, we gotta go with the Pharaohs.
Yeah, I got them going through as well. They're my dark horse for this tournament. And then we have Nigeria versus Mozambique also tomorrow.
I'm gonna go with an upset, man.
Mozambique has a tricky game. Mozambique is a very tricky team,
Yeah, I'm gonna
but
go with an upset. This Nigerian team,
hey,
like Gabriel said, they can't be touched.
They have the
Nigeria is like, to me, they're the most unpredictable team in this AFCON.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I
I don't know
agree.
what's gonna happen. Mozambique is solid. Nigeria should win though, but you never know.
That's the thing. You never know with Nigeria. That's why I'm like, I could
Yeah.
see an upset here.
I can't do more. I can't. I'm not no, not nah, nah, I can't. I'm going Nigeria. I can't. I wish I could.
Fair enough. And then on our
I'll say
last day of
this:
the round,
even if they win, it's going to be difficult. That's what I'll say. I have them winning, but it's not going to be easy for them.
fair enough. Last day, January 6th, we see Algeria versus the Congo. Who y'all got?
Cinema.
I got Congo, man. I hate to do it. Sorry, Coach Mo, but Congo's been one of my dark horses all AFCON. I've been quietly in the corner the entire time. I think Congo scrapes out a PK win.
Sneaky team Congo, but I gotta go with my
I was
Algerians,
gonna
man.
man. I I want to see Algeria and Morocco in this. I want to see that happen, But I have Congo winning. I do have Congo winning this game, and I also have them winning in PKs. I don't think that like this game is too.
See,
Like
Poppy
it's
and I.
50-50, man. Yeah, it's
Honestly, dude.
50-50. I think it's gonna be real tough if the ref calls it right. If the ref calls it right, because we know how these refs act, especially with these Maghrebian teams. But if the ref calls it right, I have Congo winning in PKs. And yeah, I think we might see some really, really great football on that game for sure.
Yeah, I got Algeria. Mares goal or assist.
Hmm,
Loki been balling all tournament.
he has. That he has. And then our last match to wrap up the round of 16 would be Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire versus Burkina Faso. I think this will be a high scoring game. Both of these teams have scored a lot of goals heading into the round of 16. I could see this being like 1-1 going into extra time.
Cote d'Ivoire
Um,
is the team that impressed me the most in this AFCON in terms of like doing what I didn't expect to see from them. They're scoring so
yeah,
many goals, man.
I feel like Cote
It's
d'Ivoire got
crazy.
this. Yeah, I don't see them. I
I
don't
have
really see
them.
them
I have
popping.
them going. Yeah,
Yep, this is my dark
same.
horse.
I have
For
Cote
the
d'Ivoire winning.
Fair enough. And I know we already talked a little bit about the two matches that we already know for the quarterfinals, but Mali versus Senegal. Any predictions there?
Senegal, man, and they're good 90 minutes.
I got
Yeah,
Molly sneaking,
same.
man. No shade, no shade, but I just I put some
Nah,
stock.
hey, it is what it is. I have Senegal winning. I think Senegal. I think this is the game where they play serious for the first time in this Afcon, and I think they really show what they're about. I think Senegal wins this game.
Yeah, probably. I think you're right. I think when it comes down to the quarterfinals, they'll play their strongest lineup. Even in that round of 16 match, you saw a lot of guys come off earlier than I would expect. You saw a lot of guys come on earlier than I would expect too. But yeah, Senegal, I feel like has the strongest team, and I think they're going for the chip this year. But our other quarterfinal match would be Cameroon versus the host country of Morocco. Any predictions there?
Cameroon.
Go Morocco.
I think
Morocco.
I think it goes to PKs. If it does go to PKs, Cameroon wins. If Morocco wants
I,
to win that one, they have to win in the match. If it goes to PKs, Cameroon wins it.
I think Morocco's road ends here against Cameroon.
Wow,
Yeah.
everybody's going with Cameroon. Okay.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Man, it's been a very, very good couple of weeks of AFCON. These knockout games are just going to be even better. It's going to be fireworks. Like we said, there are some big, big matchups that we have coming up. But good talk, boys. Good talk, man. Let's get into some other predictions. But before we do that, Gabriel, how we do on locks?
3-1 this week. Good job, boys. Selam is the lone L this week. Unfortunately, City couldn't get the job done against Chelsea, which is crazy. I didn't see that one. I thought we were gonna go 4-0 Selam, so I'm sorry about it.
It's been
But
2
yeah,
weeks now, bro. 2 weeks where I get just done like that.
yeah,
Saka assist. They called it an own goal.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
all
Two,
good though,
two
man.
tough weeks.
15-5, man. You guys have been making some money. We need to up these prices too, by the way. Now it's not cutting it anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, man. We've been cashing out. I mean, if you've been betting with us all season, you're definitely in the positive. No one has a negative record on this pod, so we've been doing well, boys. We've been doing well.
That's what's up, man. Before we get into our shout outs, predictions, who do we see here in the Premier League this upcoming week?
Liverpool. I'll just start it. Marquee matchup: Liverpool Arsenal at the Emirates. I'm gonna call another GRG. I don't think any team this year doing the double over us. Yeah, this is definitely our get back game against Liverpool. I think they won off a moment of brilliance. Great job by Soboslai week 1, week 3 or 4, whatever that was. But we're getting our lick back this week. certainly.
All right. We see Fulham and Charlton Athletic. We go to what is it? Cottage. What is
Craven
this?
Cottage.
Craven Cottage on what Wednesday, midweek. Should be a tough game, but I can see us getting a result. It might be our new manager's first game. Who knows? At this point, I just think surviving until we're stable is my goal. So with
Right
this
there
new
with you.
manager, get a 1-1 win, get out of there, and let's move on to FA Cup weekend and get a break from the Prem for a little bit. But I see a result at Fulham and a win at Charlton.
I'm
All
right
right,
there.
we see Portsmouth too. We'll get a dub there. But sorry,
I guess it's on me, right? Wednesday we play Burnley. Yeah. So I'm going to go for a draw there.
what?
I said I'm going to go for a draw.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That means you don't win the match and you don't lose the match. But yeah, I'm going to go with the draw versus Burnley. I'm going to call it now. I'm going to call this death row. This is going to be the first of 3 games that's going to put the nail in the coffin for Ruben Amorim. The first one versus Burnley in the league. We play Brighton in the FA Cup. I believe that we'll beat Brighton. And then we play Man City. And then after that, we play Arsenal. So February 1st, 2026, when we gear up to play Fulham Football Club, I believe we'll have a new manager. Because by Arsenal and City, it's
Interesting.
the coach, we're going to have a new coach. So.
Very, very interesting. And then Poppy,
Big shout.
It looks like you guys see Arsenal and then Burnley in the FA Cup. Your predictions this week?
Oh, let me finish.
Man said Arsenal. He got a little.
He just froze. You're still there, Poppy.
Yeah, we hear you now. Yeah, we hear your predictions for this week.
What happened?
You just froze.
I said Arsenal. You got
I
I
was saying.
See.
Oh wow, nah. It must be the Wi-Fi or whatever.
Bro, it's okay, man.
Hey, it's a good reason to freeze.
I know you're scared. I know you're scared.
It's a good reason to freeze. Actually, I have it ending up in a tie. I'll say it's gonna be a draw.
Stop.
I'll say it's gonna be a draw.
Stop. You don't even believe yourself.
Yeah, you need that stuff.
I promise you. You know, Gabe. It's like some games, like some teams, they just like I told Corn last week. Remember, Corn, you were talking about Chelsea playing Bournemouth, and I told you Chelsea usually struggles against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Remember, I told you that last week, and what ended up happening? Arsenal usually doesn't really bother us like that. I think, we got 2 draws against Leeds and against Fulham. I think if we bounce back and we don't lose that game, so I feel like it's going to be a draw. Against Burnley, we win, though. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, Burnley got a tough week ahead of them, so good luck to you in your future endeavors. But shout outs. I'll actually start. I have 2 shout outs this week. Let me bring up my first one. Dang, where was it at? So I'm not sure y'all heard about this, but there was a fire at a nightclub in Switzerland. It ended up actually injuring a lot of people over this holiday season, and I believe the last reports I saw that there were 40 casualties. There were 40 people that ended up, losing their lives. But there was a football player there actually on holiday, And I'll just read this article. It's from the 433 here on Instagram. So it said, Tahirs dos Santos, a 19-year-old player for Mets, was with his girlfriend Colleen in the bar in Crans, Montana. This is in Switzerland, where a fire broke out that killed at least 40 people. Tahirs was on the first floor of the bar at the time of the fire, and he managed to escape from the inferno and then realized that his girlfriend was still inside. He went back in to pull her out of the flames, but both he and his girlfriend are very injured and still in the hospital. So I did want to shout him out because that was actually something I saw in the news, just in the news, not even in footballing news, just in general was in the news. And, you know, right before we hopped on today, I saw this story about how there was actually a footballer in there and he and his girlfriend were on a holiday enjoying, you know, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and this fire broke out and he was able to go in and save his girlfriend. I just thought that was very admirable, you know, of him to go in, especially if you read the report or even if you've seen any videos or heard the story, there were a lot of things that went wrong. The DJs, once they saw the fire, they continued to keep the party ongoing. They didn't really notify anyone that the fire had happened. They kind of just looked up and kind of just disregarded the fire in itself. And there are a lot of spectators. There are a lot of people that were there at the concert kind of filming the fire. I'm not sure if they thought, you know, it was part of the show, but once things started getting worse, it took a lot longer than should have happened for, you know, people to be evacuated out of the building. So just hearing that story, kind of hearing that everything was, you know, not handled correctly, and for this player to go in and you know, be a hero in this, in all senses of the word, for me, it's just, it deserved a shout out. But to all those who lost their lives, just want to say my condolences to all those families and friends. You know, during the holidays it's when everyone comes together, and this is a really horrific event. So for the fact that he was able to go in, and just praying for him, his family, because they're still in, you know, very critical condition based on the reports that I'm reading. But wanted to shout out my boy Tahiris dos Santos and his girlfriend Colleen, who were able to escape with their lives. And then my second shout out is shout out Callum, man. Shout out Callum McFarlane. Given 3 days, your first match in top league football. He's a guy who only has his B license. You know, this is a guy who was managing youth teams, and he was able to take the charge and get a result against City today. So for me, I got to give him a huge shout out, keeping us somewhat relevant in the top 4 race.
That's fair. Good shout outs. Good shout outs. My shout out this week is actually going to go to a guy that probably we haven't spoken about a lot, but he definitely deserves his flowers. Igor Thiago for Brentford. He had a hat trick over the weekend, which is amazing for him. I believe his first Premier League hat trick. But also, this is a guy who has just been performing all season long for Brentford. Is honestly, you know, been their bright point of the season. He's currently sitting behind Haaland on goals, and second in the Prem with 14, which I think is huge. He accounts for a little under Brentford's all of their goals for this season. I'm not sure exactly where he sits GA wise. That's actually a stat I want to pull up, but yeah, just overall, I believe actually sitting on 15 GA. So 14 goals, 1 assist. And overall Brentford has 32 goals. So, you know, sitting on just under 50% of their complete goal and assist tally this year. So I just want to give him a shout out. I know, you know, Brentford, it's not a team that we talk about all the time, but obviously it's a team that I've come to love and respect over the years since they've with Thomas Frank and with Ivan Toney and some player that they've had on their team. So just want to give a shout out to, you know, Igor Thiago, man. Keep doing your thing. He's been balling out on the Prem since he joined.
I'll go next. Or sorry, go ahead. I don't know if anybody else wanted to go.
No, go for it.
Yeah, my shout out of the week is going to go to Ali Ahmed, formerly of the Vancouver Whitecaps, my Ethiopian family. He just got a move to Norwich City, so he's going to be playing in the
Mm.
championship.
Fire.
Yeah, man, this guy's a baller, bro. Been in the league for a while now. This past year, he had a goal and 10 assists. From playing from like those wide positions. So, I think a player of his skill set is actually going to do really well in the championship. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we see this guy in the Prem. Really skillful player, really techie player. So, happy to see him get an opportunity over there in England, and just another guy here, making a name for himself in the MLS, and getting an opportunity overseas. So, shout out to him. My second shout out, I know it's kind of away from football. It's actually American football, but I'm going to shout out the Seattle Seahawks.
I knew it was coming.
Yes, sir. Best team in the National Football League. Best wide receiver in the National Football League. Best defense in the best defense in the National Football League. They secured the number 1 spot in the NFC and won the NFC West in their win versus the Niners. So, I mean, when I'm looking at the landscape of the league right now, especially on the NFC side, I don't see too many teams that are really beating us. I know a lot of people are going to talk about the Eagles, but they've been up and down, especially on offense all season. And we're clicking on all cylinders, bro. We got a good defense. We got a good quarterback. Shout out to Sam Darnold. And like I said, when you have JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, the best wide receiver in the league, you got a chance. So go Hawks.
Yeah, I just saw a graphic that said the last 2 years that or the last 2 times that a new pope was elected, the Seahawks were 14-3 and went to the Super Bowl. So it's y'all year. I see the t-shirt.
Inshallah, right? I don't know. What do they be saying? The popes. I don't know what they say. My bad. Go ahead, Poppy.
I was like, Poppy, may the Lord be with you. But yeah, Poppy, any shout outs?
I got 2 shout outs. 2 shout outs this week. My first shout out goes to Sadio Mane. He just passed up Yaya Toure on the all-time assist in the AFCON. 33 years old, still doing it, man. 33 years old, still doing it. He has now 25 AFCON games, 10 goals, 8 assists. This current AFCON, he has 4 games, 1 goal, 3 assists. He's still doing it, man. Shout out to him. There was a time where people were wondering if, the next guy should be up. He's showing that he's still him, and, a lot of respect for Sadio. Greatest player in Senegal history, by a lot. And also, I think he's on pace to being one of the greatest players in AFCON history, when it's all said and done. And yeah, my second shout out goes to Nigerian goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali. He lost his dad like 3 days ago during the competition, and like 2 months before that he lost his mom. So like, it was tragic. He even talked about almost wanting to stop playing football because of that. And right now he can't do anything because he has to put up with that and put his game face on and play for Nigeria, since he's the number 1 goalkeeper for the team. So much strength, and shout out to him as well.
That's good. That's
good shout out, boys.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Lastly, before we get out of here, Gabriel, I wanted to ask you a question. So you and the Cleveland Crunch are gearing up for your guys' first home opener at the Wolstein this weekend. How you feeling about it, playing at the Wolstein? You're on mute, bro.
Sorry. I feel good, man. For someone who's been, kind of with the Crunch since we came back 6 years ago. It's just crazy to think about now. This has been the dream since we started back. We've been waiting to return where we played in the Wolstein over 20 years ago, where we won championships. And to be back there full time, we got a glimpse of it last season with the playoffs, but to be there, full time is honestly surreal. And the fact that it's coming up this upcoming weekend is super exciting. So yeah, no, I feel great. I feel like our team is in a very good spot, not only on the table, but then just just mentally and as a unit right now. So I feel like this is not something that I myself been waiting on, but a lot of these guys that we're playing with have been waiting on for years and years now. So the fact that we're able to go and put our skills on display in front of a huge crowd at the Wolstein. I'm expecting a lot of people to be there. A lot of the support. I know the city's been behind us over the past 6 years, and I feel like, this is what our fans deserve. So they deserve a bigger venue. They deserve a better experience, a better fan experience. Not saying that they haven't been getting a good one, but this is just being the Wolstein is just going to enhance that even more. So I'm just really looking forward to playing on the pitch because it's a bigger pitch, so I think it's a lot better for us as a team. It suits our playing style a lot, so looking forward to playing on that. But then also, just playing in front of our home fans and being in that atmosphere. I know what the atmosphere was like last year, and I think the atmosphere is going to be even crazier this year. So yeah, man, just looking forward to it. We won't get caught up in all of the lights and being at home and all of the craziness. I think we're still focused on the task at hand, but I'd be remiss to say I'm definitely excited and playing in front of our fans and giving them what they deserved over the past 6 years. So I think this is as big of a moment for us as a club. And it's just as big for the fans, and I think they deserve it as well. So really just looking forward to putting on a good show in front of the home fans and, letting the city of Cleveland know that, the crunch is back and it's something to look forward to.
Yes, sir. Well said, man. We're looking forward to it. If you guys haven't gotten your tickets already, tap in with the Cleveland Crunch. Pull up this weekend, show love. It's going to be a fun season, man, up there in Cleveland, Ohio. So,
good luck, Gabe.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Poppy, thank you for coming on as always, bro. It's been a fun AFCON, and we're looking forward to closing it out. But yeah, appreciate you guys pulling up with us and kicking with us on the kickback.